It's a beautiful morning in the neighborhood. Okay, Nix, go to the bathroom. And off he goes, racing through the neighborhood until he finds the perfect spot.
Welcome to Yoldai's Pet Corner.
Quick question before we start, and have you ever driven across Europe or Asia and thought, wow, this used to be an ocean? No? Yeah, most people don't. But, it actually was. So today, if you'll join me, we're gonna peel back the layers of an ancient sea so massive, so influential, that even though it vanished millions of years ago, it still shapes the world we live in today. Welcome to the Paratethys Sea. Because this wasn't just any sea. The Paratethys Sea once stretched from modern-day France all the way to Central Asia. It shaped continents, trapped species, created deserts, and left behind some of the strangest bodies of water on Earth. And the wildest part? Pieces of it are still here. Let's dive in. At its peak, the Paratethys Sea stretched across Central and Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and Western Asia. A vast inland world of water. But from the very start, it was unstable. It supported coral reefs and sprawling coastal wetlands, nurseries for massive fish populations and marine mammals. A mosaic of habitats, all feeding on a sea-sized heartbeat. Then, the gates would shift. When connections reopened, floods surged in. When they closed, waters evaporated. Short, violent swings on a geologic clock. Shorelines raced back and forth, regressing, then advancing. Those shifts carved coasts, stranded basins, and quietly reshaped the continents around them. The Paratethys. This was a climate engine. When it shrank, rains faded and the lands dried, feeding the rise of steppe belts and expanding deserts downwind. When it expanded, coastlines flooded and ecosystems exploded with life. Moisture returned, storm tracks strengthened, wetlands bloomed. This sea didn't just exist in history, it created history. Marine life thrived here. Ancient whales, seals, sharks, rays, and countless fish species. Warm shallows, deep basins, endless blue. A world alive. In corridors of connection they migrated. In pockets of isolation they adapted. Forms elegant and strange, tuned to a sea that kept changing the rules. As isolation deepened, many species became endemic, found nowhere else on Earth. Survivors with local passports, stamped by the Paratethys. Some of their descendants are still alive today, trapped in seas that survived: the Black Sea, the Caspian, the Aral. The lineage endures, the ocean reborn in fragments. Which brings us to something important. The Paratethys. This never truly vanished. It just changed its address. And its story isn't finished. Millions of years ago, during the Oligocene and Miocene epochs, the Paratethys Sea formed when tectonic plates shifted and cut off part of the ancient Tethys Ocean. What emerged was an enormous inland sea, larger than today's Mediterranean, bordered by rising mountain ranges like the Alps, Carpathians, Caucasus, and Himalayas. This wasn't just water, it was a world. As continents collided, land rose, and ocean connections closed, water became trapped. Over time, the Paratethys Sea became increasingly isolated, and isolation changes everything. Salinity fluctuated wildly, water levels rose and fell, channels opened, then sealed. Chemistry swung from marine to brackish, reshaping habitats in geologic instants. Entire ecosystems evolved independently. Species adapted, diverged, and specialized. An evolutionary laboratory spread across a shifting inland sea. That's because isolation creates evolutionary laboratories. The Paratethys turned constraint into creativity, forging life that fit a sea unlike any other.
Hi, Dad. I love your stories. And if you at home enjoy them too, please, pretty please, hit like and subscribe. It makes me so happy.
Welcome back. As tectonic forces continued, the Paratethys Sea fractured into smaller basins. Some dried out completely. Others shrank into isolated seas and lakes. Over millions of years, the Paratethys transformed into the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea, the Aral Sea, and parts of the Mediterranean system. Each one inherited a piece of its ancient past. By breaking apart, the sea didn't end. It diversified into survivors. Because of isolation, many Paratethys. This species survived almost unchanged. That's why animals like sturgeon, Caspian seals, and unique mollusks exist today. They're not just animals, they're living fossils, survivors of a sea that no longer exists. In isolated basins, evolution slowed, preserving ancient lineages that mirror the old sea. Sturgeon navigated brackish channels. Caspian seals adapted to ice and islands. Mollusks specialized and endured. These survivors persisted as waters fractured and shrank, living fossils carried into the present. How do we know all this? Because Paratethys left fingerprints everywhere. Marine fossils found high in mountains, shells and whale bones stranded far above today's seas. Salt deposits hundreds of miles inland, vast evaporate beds marking vanished shorelines, sediment layers that match ancient coasts, stacked records of transgressions and retreats. Scientists can literally trace the coastline of this sea, mapping its reach across Europe and Asia. Even though the water vanished millions of years ago, here's the big reveal. The Paratethys Sea didn't disappear, it fragmented. It broke apart into isolated survivors, each carrying a memory of what once was. Every strange inland sea, every landlocked marine animal, every fossil found far from today's oceans, they're all echoes of the same lost world. The Paratethys Sea is gone, but it never really left. Understanding Paratethys, this helps scientists predict how climate change affects inland seas, what happens when oceans become isolated, and how ecosystems respond to rapid environmental change. In other words, the past is teaching us how the future might unfold. If you enjoyed peeling back the layers of this ancient sea, like, subscribe, and comment which prehistoric world you want to explore next. Earth's greatest stories aren't always written in books. Sometimes they're written in stone, hidden beneath our feet. Christmas may be over, but you know what isn't? Cats and dogs still freezing, still hungry, still waiting. This winter, your local animal shelter needs help more than ever. Please donate today and help keep them warm, fed, and safe.